Well, there's our taste of humble pie yesterday, and to make matters worse, we lost Lee McNeil for the rest of the year, and we lost Carlton Davis for the rest of the year. The injuries just keep piling on top of each other, and we just didn't decide to show up in one of the biggest games of the season yesterday. Offensively, this is what set the tone yesterday. We take the ball first drive of the series, or we must have lost the coin toss or whatever, but we got the ball right away. And our offense line, which is supposed to set the tone for the game, which was in my pregame or my preview of for this big game of the week, I said we have to establish the run game, and we did not do that from the first play. Buffalo dominated our offensive line, and our offensive line is supposed to be our heart and soul of this team. Frank Ragnow was getting destroyed by Ed Oliver yesterday. I don't know how often you could say Frank Ragnow got worked, but that was probably the first game in his career where he just got worked the whole game. Zeitler, Graham Glasgow, they couldn't get an interior push. Decker was getting worked on the outside. The only one that decided to show up was Penei Sewell, and you know Penei's going to bring it every week. But other than that, our offense line, which is supposed to be our strength, our heart and soul of our team, they did not show up yesterday, and they got their butts worked by Ed Oliver and that small defensive line. We just couldn't get the run game going. We couldn't keep the ball away from Josh Allen. And to make matters worse, we lost Aleem McNeil yesterday, and we lost Carlton Davis yesterday, and it sounds like they're going to be season-ending injuries. I don't know. Name another team in the NFL where they've had 15 or 16 or all 11 of their starting players on their defensive side of the ball go down on IR. This is getting ridiculous. I don't understand what's going on in practice. Is it something we're doing? But it's just unreal that every week we lose an impact player for the rest of the season. We lose him for a couple weeks. We need Ennis Rakestraw to come back off IR. I know a couple weeks ago he pulled his hammy at practice and they put him on IR. Hopefully he's coming back soon because we really need him out there, because it's going to be Vildor and Terrion out there with Amik Robertson, Brian Branch, and Kirby Joseph. And I was kind of not upset yesterday, but where has Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch been over the middle of the field yesterday? They didn't make their interceptions where Josh Allen's throwing it across the middle of the field. And how about Ty Johnson, the former Detroit Lion, just tearing us up? It's just, yesterday was such a frustrating loss. And to even make matters worse is defend the den, and we're supposed to be undefeated at home. We're supposed to defend the den, and we got 2 losses at home, and we're undefeated on the road. Makes no sense. And it's just like the biggest game of the season, and you didn't decide to show up in offense. You know your defense is probably going to struggle against an MVP candidate, and you guys just didn't show up yesterday. And that's what the most frustrating part about yesterday is. Like, your offense is supposed to be a vocal point of your team. Jared Goff played really good. I'm not going to blame this game on Jared Goff at all. I blame it on the offensive line and the lack of run game. Jahmyr Gibbs was starting to turn up a little bit, but David Montgomery was a no-show yesterday, and that's all because of the offensive line. The offensive line got their butts worked. And now, on the defensive side of the ball, we got issues right now. And that sucks to say, because earlier in the season, we were dominant on defense. And we're not dominant on defense right now. We haven't stopped anybody in the last, game and a half. The Packers in the second half were destroying us. The Bills, we didn't stop the Bills once yesterday, and they were able to run it down their throats. I don't care if you're getting picked off the practice squad. Our D-line was healthy for the most part yesterday, and he let Josh Allen, James Cook, and that Davis run all over you yesterday. Yesterday was not a good game, and we got a lot to clean up. I'm a little worried about this game, honestly. We got hurt a lot yesterday. Our defense looks like crap again right now. There's a lot to clean up, but like I said earlier in the video, it's humble pie. That's the one thing under Dan Campbell and this regime the last couple of years. We lose a game, they get sick to their stomach, and then the next game they come out on top. But we'll see. We're going to Chicago. It's outdoors. It's going to be kind of cold out there. We'll see what goes on. And that was an uncharacteristic game from Amon-Ra St. Brown. A couple drops yesterday. Fumbled that one. If he doesn't fumble that one, maybe we're not in this position we are at the end of the game. And let's talk about Dan Campbell's decision-making. Why go for an onside kick that early in the fourth quarter? Kick it deep, and maybe you get a stop right there. I understand we weren't stopping them, but why do you got to give them that good a field position with 12 minutes to go when there's a 10-point game? Kick it deep and see what happens. That's how I personally would have played it. But like I said, I ride with Dan Campbell when it's going good. I'm going to die with Dan Campbell when it's not going good. Dan Campbell is still the guy for the job, and you can tell he was getting frustrated yesterday. It was the offensive line did not show up yesterday, and that really set the tone for the whole team, because the offensive line is our heart and soul. And when the offensive line doesn't show up and they get worked like Frank Ragnow did in the whole interior of the offensive line, it's not going to be a good day for this Detroit Lions team. And it just goes to show, when Jared Goff throws for throws more than 50 passes in the game, the Detroit Lions lose, and that's exactly what happened. He was 40 for 52. But like I said, that game was not on Jared Goff. Jared Goff played a hell of a football game yesterday. That's not on him. Just the offensive line didn't protect him. The defense didn't stop anybody, and we just didn't show up yesterday. That was just my honest assessment from the game. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Comment down below what you guys thought about the game. I'll see you guys in the next one when we preview the Detroit Lions versus the Chicago Bears in Chicago. One Pride signing out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's go Lions.